events. I do a lot of social media. And I just, including myself, we're a team of three. So I'm looking, I'm currently growing my team and, we're going pretty quick. But yeah, that's me.
Nice, nice. And just so you guys know, I might say custom live stream. It's not somewhere publicly. It's a YouTube account that I don't promote. So I just do that because that's how I record stuff. But that is pretty cool. So you just started in real estate, but you've been actively more in State Farm, right?
No, so I don't have my, no, nothing in real estate. It's more of
Oh,
insurance. Yeah.
insurance. Okay.
So home insurance, auto insurance, life, health insurance, commercial, errors and omissions, bonds. So everything pretty much relating to insurance.
Okay, cool. Cool. All right, well then that's great. I'm excited. I guess one of the things that I really enjoy, like personal branding, and if you guys have been following me, I hope, right, that I've been doing a good job on my personal brand, right? Here we go. We got Luis coming in. Let me let him in. So as far as, sometimes and again, I'm just gonna say things. We're talking about it. I'm not here to say I know more than anybody. That's never my intention. I'm just here to ask questions and help you guys kind of give you that space to think about this stuff, especially when it comes to personal branding. And I can share what has worked for me. And my answers might not be the end all be all, right? It's just something that I've picked up over the years. And I kind of feel like, hey, this has helped me. Why don't you guys consider that? But this is a group progress. I just like to feel like we're all in this together and there's no right or wrong. Hey, Louis, I see you're on with us. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing really good, thanks.
Good, good. Do you want to give yourself a brief intro for the ladies so that they know who you are? I know, are you still in Thailand?
No, I'm back in Chicago now.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well go for it. Introduce yourself to the two ladies here, please.
Hi, my name's Louis. Um, I'm kind of an investor. I do boxing, kickboxing. I work as a locksmith. I do that part time. Um, I just got back from like 3 months in Thailand and in Mexico. Um, just kind of working on maybe starting up a business this year, get something going pretty solid. I really want to go hard for the next couple years on establishing a business. And right now, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter what kind of business because I'm business minded. Ideally, I'd like it to be in the security industry, hardware, video cameras, but I'm also thinking about expanding into marketing and opening like a marketing agency where I'm doing marketing for painting jobs or the video camera jobs, other or other kind of events. As I was telling you before that a friend of mine and I were working close together, and he has like a promotion company where he does events for college students, and I kind of helped him start that. I helped him work with that. And ultimately, it's his business, it's his company. But if there's a way that I could get an income from his following, which right now is about 10,000 strong, um, I would like to do that where, what I mean, we're promoting products, promoting services to, ultimately it's a younger consumer group, the college group, but they also, if you get these customers, now, it could be a long-term potential, future client for years and in many different sectors. So, that's kind of what I'm trying to do right now. Small intro.
Cool, cool. Well, thank you for sharing, Louis. So
Sure.
let's do this. I'm glad you're back. Um,
Thanks.
So, one of the things before we go into it, I just wrote a couple of questions out and, take out your journals or however you do guys do notes. And like I said, this is just a time for you to really just kind of process how you want to present yourself to the world. Because ideally, right, that personal brand is how you present yourself to the world, right? We have the business branding, right? In business, right? When you do business branding, it's all about the company. It's not an individual, but it's a corporation or a S corp. And then you don't really have to do the legal entities and all that stuff. It's just how you present yourself as a business, right? So, marketing agencies or State Farm or McDonald's, right? Those are business brands. But then you talk about personal brands, and I think on the personal brand side, we neglect that because if you do a lot of, B2C relate like type of business dealing with clients, that's the first, your face card is what's going to get you business. And one thing I want to reiterate is social media, right? And because I know I heard Lewis say like, 10,000 strong followers. You can make money off your personal brand, even if you have a couple hundred, right? You don't need thousands if your personal brand that it feels solid to who's following you, right? So
Sure.
a lot of times we'll hide ourselves behind a company, but forget the fact that we are, if depending on who your clientele is, there's that person to person type relationships, and people will follow you. They'll follow your videos, they'll follow your messaging, they'll follow the way you dress. Surprisingly, I've had women tell me, and like, I can't wait to see what you're going to wear at this next event. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I didn't realize that this was something that people were looking forward to. Or even like, people feel when they look at my brand, my personal brand, a lot of times people feel like they know me, right? They know who I am because they kind of see similarities, whether it's, I still like to intertwine some of my Wise colors into my personal brand, right? So you might see some graphics here and there that have to do with the Wise and the Wise logo. And there's specific reasons why I chose those colors for the business. So I try not to heavily bring a lot of business stuff in. I like the personal one-on-one relationships with my followers. And when I put myself out there, and even I'm talking about our personal branding could be the way we do our hair, be intentional about the earrings that we wear, the look, the outfit, the shoes, right? I know some women that are like big on like the Louis Vuitton shoes, right? The red bottoms, and they incorporate that as part of their personal brand, right? Some individuals, and I can, Lewis, I'm sure, I know you're a man, but I know you could relate with like men do have accessories as well, right? They can accessorize themselves and portray themselves a certain way online, not as well as in person. But one of the things I've said this multiple times, I always wear hoops, and I feel like I wear hoops because I'm intentional about it, because I want to connect that to my culture of the Latina, the Hispanicness that I am. I want people to know I am a Hispanic woman when I'm putting my personal brand out there, right? So as far as you ladies, enough about me. I'm just giving you guys example because I know that you probably watch my personal brand and about me has intrigued you, that you're saying, okay, I'm going to keep following this individual because there's something about her that I like. So when you guys start thinking about your personal brand, the first question, I think I do have like a little PowerPoint here I could share because I put a couple of questions, right? The first questions, I want you guys to ask yourself, right? Is right. So personal brand is how you show up as an individual, right? So we want to separate that from like the business side of things, right? But who are you? That's my first and foremost question. Like, who are you? Like, who? And I don't just mean like as an intro, as a bio, right? I mean like, who are you? Like, what do you like? What are your dislikes? What do you want to be known for? So, for example, right? Lewis, I know that part of his brand is he likes Muay Thai, right? Muay Thai, right, Lewis?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
I would connect that with his personal brand. He's always talking about fighting and martial arts in Thailand, and he's always right. So, and then going and he travels, so he's constantly like doing things like that, and he's in the security system, like he does security and locksmith. So like security, fighting, that's all part of his branding, and he talks about it all the time and he shows it all the time. So I know for a fact that's something that's part of his interests, right? Even though it might be like more of a hobby, maybe the Muay Thai doesn't pay bills. I don't know if they do, I'm just saying, but it's part of his persona, which makes him intriguing, right? So people are going to come across and be like, oh, I like the fact that you do that. You might generate business with people that actually that find that interesting. So when I ask you guys who you are, I want to know more of like persona, like personality, like personal things, like, you know, I love puppies. I volunteer at a shelter. You know, I'm very family oriented, right? Whatever that may be, there's no right or wrong. I just want you guys to I'll give you like a minute. And if you want to speak up and say it, feel free to speak up and say it. But who are you? Like, what are your personal interests? I should have put like, what are more of your personal interests? So anyone want to share any personal interests that they have?
This is a good question. But I find it kind of hard to answer it myself. Like, if you ask me like what I what I do, I mean, I'm a mom of three. So aside from doing insurance, I mean, I do go to the gym, but aside from that, it's just me being a mom and a wife.
Very well, those are key things, right? Like
Yeah.
that's still part of your personal brand, regardless of how you portray yourself on social media, right? And this is a great opportunity because then you can incorporate new things. So like let's say you want to be more of that, like represent that mom, that business mom, right? You start adding and incorporating more images of you doing activities with your kids and still being suit, right? Or let's say I'm just throwing ideas out, right? It's just this is nice that it's small because you can kind of personalize it for you. Or let's say like you said you go to the gym, right? Is there a specific workout or specific exercise that you like, or is it just going to the gym or nothing specific?
Just in general.
Just in general.
No,
So you could if you
no,
really
just in
want.
general. Mhm.
Okay, just in general. So then you could be like a gym girly if you want, right? You could make that as part of your brand. So I know like for me, like I do like to incorporate like health, like marathon running, right? You guys, I'm sure you guys have seen me talk about it or say it or write it somehow, right? I've ran marathons. I like to lift, right? So that's something that I want people to remember me. When they look at me, they should know that. So when people look at you, Stephanie, what do you want them to think? And this is a great opportunity because you can create anything, right? You can create this persona.
Okay.
How about you, Irina?
For me, it's definitely cooking,
Mm.
gym, travel. I've traveled to parts of Europe that I really enjoyed. And cooking for me is a pleasant and mindful experience because when I cook, I like to recreate stuff that I saw at restaurants. So it's very it feels like an accomplishment for me, and then like the gratification is eating the food. I don't do that often, but when I can, it's like it feels good. Like it's a very mindful experience for me, cooking.
I love that actually. I
Yeah.
love I love the fact that you travel. I love the cooking, the gym, and I love that recreating dishes from restaurants. That's super cool, right? Like, so I would totally find that super. First off, like I like to cook, but sometimes I don't have the time to cook. But to watch someone do a dish, right? And then maybe even share the recipe, like that would totally intrigue me, you know? And actually, I know we follow each other, but I didn't realize you were a big traveler.
Yeah, last year I traveled across the US to a couple different states, but I do travel. I do like to travel. I've been to Florida, some parts of like the Middle East. Um, I'm originally from Russia, so like I've been to Moscow and like I still have a lot of travel to do. Like there's a lot of cities even in the country that I lived in that I've never been to. So I feel like there's not enough time for that because you have to allocate like a good like week or 2 weeks for travel like that. And I'm so involved in my business still. Like I hired somebody to help me, but I'm still very much in, like I can't. I thought that I would not be working on the business as I hired somebody, but it's just been really hard.
But that's pretty cool, the things that you mentioned. And I could totally see adding like just more posts of you doing the traveling or when you visited a location, the cooking, that could totally be part of that personal brand to connect with more people. My feedback, of course, you have to decide what you think about that.
Yeah, I do cooking, and whenever I travel, I always post something.
Nice,
So
nice.
it's yeah. For me, personal branding, I love the topic personal branding because, I'm not a marketing person, I'm an accounting person, I'm a finance person, I've been for 20 years now. So, like, for me to get into marketing, I only got into marketing when I started my business 6 years ago. So, like, now personal branding is a big part of what I do because it all kind of comes together. Like, if you think about it, like, if you do a podcast, or if you post a YouTube video, like it all comes full circle because if you have like use kind of a specific method, like specific to who you are, like Jennifer says, then you can then it just becomes full circle. It's like, and then you're branding. And I see that, and even like using cooking, like I do post my cooking pics. I really do.
Yeah, okay. I definitely want to take a look at it. And I want to definitely, I mean, that's cool. I thought it was so cool and I didn't realize it, but this is cool to know now so I could be looking out for it. Um, so thank you
You've
for
liked some of my cooking pics.
girl, maybe I didn't realize that you actually
Yeah, you
cooked
have.
them.
I know for a fact that you have. So
I
yeah,
I
you've
know I
seen them.
support you. I know I support your posts. Like I'm conscious of like liking your
Yeah, you
things.
do. Yeah.
Okay. I'm be more mindful too when I'm actually gonna look at them because maybe it just looked really good and I was like, damn, that looks good, you know. Okay, thank you for sharing, Irina. Let's go. How about Lewis? I know we talked about the Muay Thai and the martial arts, and then Maida, I know you just jumped on, so I'll pick on you in a little bit. Um, is there anything like else that's part of you that you would like to incorporate in like who you are, like you would like more people to know about you?
I think that, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think that along with the martial arts is the coaching aspect behind it. I think a lot of people don't know that when you're doing the martial arts, you need to be 100% focused, you need to concentrate. And then along with that is that you do build a sense of like camaraderie with the people you're training with. And then a lot of people that are younger coming up to you, that are either real young, 14, 15, 16, or, just younger than you in general. And they're looking for guidance in like martial arts, or sometimes they just have a problem like, oh, things aren't going so well. And, I know I'm not a counselor to just say, hey, let's line your problems up and solve it. But just as someone who's there coaching, you could just say, hey, you know what? Leave all those things outside of the gym. Come in here for what you're here to do, get your mind right, and then face those problems when you come back out. So I think that I do want, if I could put on my personal branding, put something that is like not necessarily like a motivational coach, but just somebody that you could reach out to in like you said, you're training for a marathon, right? So you're going to go to the people that are constantly running marathons or coaches that are training for marathons, where I want people to say, hey, if I let's say open up a gym, or if I'm at a gym, people are going to know that, hey, that's the guy that could help you with your conditioning, with your cardio, with your strength, strength and endurance, with your movement, things like that. That's probably something that I would like to get out there more, because most of the time I'm just kind of I'm a little bit on the quieter side. I'm a little bit more on the reserve side, so I don't really talk a lot. But when you get to know me, you know that I'm the kind of person that doesn't shut up. I'll just keep talking and talking and talking, and more than likely we're having a good time, and people really attracted to me. But if we don't know each other, they're going to be like, man, that guy, I don't know what to think of him, because all he does is talk about fighting, and I don't want to be around someone that's that type of person. So, you know what I mean? You kind of have to bridge the gap between saying, hey, I'm a fighter, but I'm not an aggressive person. And people don't see that. You know what I mean? So that's something that I think I would like to work on, along with probably, I guess there is some things that I would like to do, or a lot of people are telling me to do with the locksmith job. People want to see other people locked out. You know what I mean? People want to see you open locks that, like, how do you do that? How do you do that? And I know that I could just go take a video and be like, here, watch me open up this house. Watch me open up this car. Watch me open up this lock. Watch me with no tools open this door. You know what I mean? And I've been hearing a lot of people say, you need to make videos and post it. You need to make videos and post it. It's not necessarily like my personal brand. I think that's more of like a business brand, but it's something that in the back of my mind, I've always had it. I think one time I went to go do a job for somebody, and it was a guy who was kind of like on one of those network shows. You know how like they have just some off network show where he's like, you're a locksmith, dude. We could totally do a TV series about people getting locked out. Everybody would love it. And that, that kind of got into my mind. And that was years ago. That was years before video blogging, years before like YouTube and Instagram. That was probably like 10, 12 years ago. And I was like, yeah, I think back then, they would have like the ice road truckers and, the tow truck shows. And what are they doing? They're riding around in the tow truck towing people. You know what I mean? It's just some things that are just like, and he's like, what it sells is your personality. He says it's your personality is what people want to see. And to me, I'm like, what? I showed up and I opened the door. Like, what are you talking about? But
Yeah.
I think people could see more than that. When you show up and you have a smile, they see the smile. You know what I mean? When you show up and it's freezing cold, it's 3 a.m, you're in the middle of nowhere and you showed up, it says something about you. And I mean, I want to be able to show all those attributes, because nobody's asking you like, hey, when you're being interviewed for a job or something, like not necessarily like a job, but when especially like on a contract, what I mean is like, are you going to show up with a smile? Are you going to do this? No, they want what they want, how they want. You know what I mean? But when you show up to the job, that's what they're going to pay for. You know what I mean? That's what you're getting a tip for. That's what gets you the 5-star reviews. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I need to be able to get that every time, because you know what I mean, I'm working with other people who have like restaurants and stuff, and I've done some business consulting for them. And I said, you haven't even done your reviews. You know what I mean? And their review, without coming to the restaurant, I don't even go to a restaurant anymore without seeing a review. If your reviews aren't at the stars I like, and your people aren't saying, man, food is delicious, I'm not going, because that means you have someone come into your house, they're gonna eat and they're gonna leave, and they're not even going to say, "Hey, good job." To me, that's bad on you as the person there, because you know what I mean. Like you're
Yeah, yeah,
harnessing their energy, and instead of captivating them and say, "Hey, man, do me a solid right now. Can you put me a 5 star? Could you do that for me, please?"
yeah,
And,
Louis.
and you, yeah, sorry, I keep talking. Go ahead.
You're good. That's why I was like, okay, no worries, no worries. I hear it. So I think I do like the idea of you putting in, right? So it sounds like you want to incorporate more coaching, right? Your personal
Yeah,
brand can still incorporate coaching and fighting. I totally think you can do that, right? So
yeah,
it's just a matter of crafting more intentional posts and more intentional and I guess right now we're going to stick maybe more to the idea of like social media, because right now I think most people, unless you're doing, and most people, because we're talking about personal brands, right? You're not doing Google ads for your personal brand, right? You're not
no, no,
doing, you're not putting TV advertisements and stuff like that, or PR campaigns. You're doing it on the personal side. Where you show off more is when you're in person with someone or in social media world. So we'll keep it for the purposes of this, like on that end. We'll just, you need to put more posts. No, you don't need to do anything. I apologize. I recommend you to put more posts that reflect. Now we know coaching, martial arts, locksmith, and the fighting. Right now the way to craft it is going to be more creative, but at least we know that's what you want. So thank you for sharing.
sure.
Maida, I know you just jumped on. Do you want to quickly, briefly share a quick intro and then just like personal things that make you who you are?
Hello, everyone. Sorry I was late. Can you repeat that again? Just say who am I?
Yeah, quick intro and then just personal things that make you who you are.
Okay, well, my name is Mayra Esparza. I'm a real estate agent and I'm also a title agency rep. I've been doing real estate for 8 years now and work for a title company for over a year. Um, and what else? I'm sorry.
But
I get
no,
nervous
no,
while talking.
no, you're good. So just things that make, so like for example, Stephanie was saying she likes the gym, she's
Mm-hmm.
a mom and she's a little part of her personal brand, right?
Okay.
Irina, she likes the cooking, the travel, she travels overseas as well. So those are things like part of her personal brand. And then you heard Lewis's. So what would make yours? Like how would you like, what are the things that you love that you would like to stand out?
Well, I'm a mom of five, and I feel like even though I have a lot of kids, I try to be very productive. I um try to be involved in my job as I do with my house. I love reading. Reading is very relaxing to me. Very friendly people. I talk to a lot of people are always smiling. I just feel like your first impression says a lot about you. I try to be kind. Um, like if I'm at the store, I'm the kind of person that I say good morning, good afternoon to the cashiers, things like that. And that's just pretty much who I am. I'm a little shy. It's hard for me to start a conversation. I can say hi, good afternoon, but once you get to know me, then it's hard for me to stop talking.
Yeah. What did you say right before reading? You said reading and then your kindness, and there was one more thing you said.
I talk to a lot, like I'm friendly.
Friendly. But there
Hmm.
wasn't something else. I thought I heard one more thing, but maybe I missed.
I don't think so.
No
But
worries.
I've been a
Okay.
realistic, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I heard that. Okay, so reading, that's cool. That could be part of the personal brand. I know you're also a mom, right? The kindness, you can totally make that part of a personal brand, right? It just, you got to be very specific and intentional how you're reflecting kindness on your social media accounts. If that's how you want people to perceive you. Now, right, with this workshop, you're kind of designing this personal brand right now, right?
Okay.
And it's not going to
Well, I
happen.
want people to feel like trust me, like know that I'm responsible. Like,
Okay,
well, like for my job, since I do real estate, it has to it has to do a lot with trust.
for
Before
sure.
I get the clients need to trust me, they need to know that I'm gonna do a good job for them, that we're gonna have a good communication. So just be confident and that I'm a trustworthy person, and I always keep open communication.
And that's good. And you know what? The personal brand, so let me reiterate, personal brand creates trust, right? That's how you create rapport and you create trust with people. It doesn't necessarily like for example, like if you guys see me, always doing videos and lives, right? And you guys build that relationship with me virtually, you start trusting me, right? This is like a form of creating trust with somebody. So I want you to think more of like, what things can I share about me that are going to create trust with people? Like that, for a fact, they're going to be like, yeah, Mayra, she's a book reader. She's a book lover. Like she reads all these books all the time. Like, that'll be part that's connected to your personal brand. So then,
Okay.
What else? And you don't got to answer this right now. It could take time, right? But like if Stephanie, for example, I'm just gonna throw because I know you guys are sharing. Like Stephanie said, gym. Well, then does she want to incorporate that in part of her personal brand? Does she want people to, when they see her, know that she's a gym girl, right? A girl gym girly, como le dicen, right? Gym girly or something like that. So you right now have the opportunity to decide, what do you want people to perceive? What do you want to share about yourself? Like if you guys follow my Instagram, on my Instagram side, on the branding there, I get a little bit more like, I like to put myself in like a lot of different outfits, right? I like to show off the clothing I wear. I've done a little bit of runway, right? So for me, like I want to show more of a feminine girly side on my Instagram account. You might see me a little bit more, I don't want to use the word sexy, that sounds inappropriate, but sultry, right? Like I just want to look a certain way on my Instagram account. I'm trying to have different persona. You won't see that on Facebook though, right? So it's like kind of like that's what I'm trying to give off though, right? Just want to look more feminine, I guess. That's the right word. I don't want to use sultry. That sounds retarded. Excuse me. Sorry. I shouldn't say that word. That's not politically correct. But does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yes. Well, now that you mentioned that, since the last meeting we had a conversation that you told me, well, you always dressed up, you like to do your makeup, you like to like just get yourself out there. So yeah, I never thought about that. I guess this is a good
Makeup.
a good meeting, so I can start just looking out of things that can be part of my branding. Like
Right.
never thought about that.
Yeah, beautiful. Personal branding, makeup tutorials, this is the new makeup I put on, or this is the new, like every time you put a picture of yourself, it's in a new makeup look, right? So if that's your thing, then you could make that part of your personal brand. Absolutely, right? So who do you want to serve in business? Now, I think the reason why you don't have to answer this question, write it in your notes, but the reason why I'm asking this question is because your personal brand is going to attract, right, that client. So we want to make sure that they're in alignment, because you don't want to attract someone completely that's not aligned with who you are, right? So like there's got to be a real crafty way that you put yourself out there where, for example, Mayra, you want to do makeup, which is great. And let's say like you won't do makeup on other people, maybe on yourself, right? And you're always doing makeup, but somehow your messaging and your wording has to always relate to somehow in real estate, or indicate that you do stuff in real estate, or indicate that you love working with people. Like today, here's a crafty idea, right? Today, you have your makeup done and you're all cute and you're looking in the mirror and you're like, today I went and saw a client and we looked at 5 properties. You get what I'm saying? Even though your makeup's on point, you somehow slipped in what you're doing in business. So you want to make sure you're still catering to that audience that you're trying to get. Maybe you do have a specific audience that you like to work with. Maybe like me, I know that for me, I work with high achieving professionals, right? I know that I work really well with women who are trying to A, build confidence, or B, they just have a lot on their plate and they don't know how to manage it, right? So I know like I have already identified the kind of women that I kind of work with. So I cater my messaging to that, right? And then I work a lot with investors. So like men and women. So I know that then I cater another message for specifically my investors. So You got to be real crafty and know who that audience is that you're working on, that you're targeting. So once you identify that, then you can be clever with how you put your personal brand in it. Does this make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so do you guys all know who you don't got to answer, but you guys know who you want to serve in business? Like kind of like you've already know the target, you've identified that avatar, or have you never done that before? No, okay. So that would be that might be a question that I actually have coming up, but I want you guys to start thinking. And again, personal brand's not going to happen in an hour, right? Like to develop a personal brand is going to take time and thought. But these are good questions for you to start thinking about, like, well, who is it that I want to serve? Who is it that I want to appeal to on my social media accounts or when I'm networking? Oh, someone wrote something, never done that before. Okay, good. And now I know. So why do you do what you do, and what is your mission? It's still connected to the whole, who you're catering to and why you cater to them. So why do you do what you do, and what is your mission? Right? The why, everyone talks about what is your why, we should know our whys. And if you don't, it's okay. I actually do have an exercise that I do with people. It's called the 7 levels, and figuring out someone's why, like the deep rooted reason why someone does what they do. But for now, for this purpose, let's, just why do you think you do what you do, right? And what is your mission? I see some comments here. Okay. So the reason why I'm asking your mission is because, again, if if I know that my goal is to be, let me use investing because I know we have Lewis here, right? Like if I know that my goal is to build a large portfolio and I want to attract more investors to be my clients when I wholesale properties, right? I know that they have to trust that I know what I'm doing. So there's times that you guys might see, I put in my story when I'm at, if you guys have been following me, you'll see that I'm at like properties and it's all tore up, right? Like, I go into distressed properties, or I'll make jokes about being in the hood, like I'll do these little things so that people, and when they're reading my stuff, they know, oh, she does real estate. Oh, she's out looking for properties. Oh, she purchases and she rehabs properties, right? Like I want to make sure there's this messaging that I keep putting out there where people are aware that I do this. And, it helps me create content. So that's why understanding the mission, understanding who you're serving is critical, because then you can create specific contents for them. And you could have more than one audience. Don't ever feel like I have to serve one type of person, because I don't serve one type of person. I serve multiple people in multiple ways. But I just need to know who gets this message and who's getting that message. So who do you attract as your client now? And are you happy with that client in your personal brand? Like, do you guys know who do you attract? Marina, go for it. I see you unmuted yourself.
I attract business owners, so I build up a referral base, and typically these business owners own property, or they are in some form they're buying assets other than their business service. And yeah, so I would say typically just a business owner.
Okay. Do you feel like just curious, do you use your personal brand to attract them, or are you using like more marketing in your business branding, not your personal branding?
I mean, it depends, because like if I'm on LinkedIn and I post whatever, like some ad or a promotional thing, or talk about my business, or write a newsletter or whatever, like somebody will notice it and they will reach out to me and eventually start talking to me. On Facebook, I've only had that happen like a, you know, less than a handful times that, and that's because like my Facebook's connected to my Instagram, I think. And like I switch it up. Like one day I'll be posting like I'm out somewhere like drinking or whatever, and then the next day I'm not, you know?
Yeah, I get it. Okay. No, I totally get it. That's good to know, because then that means definitely LinkedIn is where you get more of your bread and butter.
Yeah, so LinkedIn has a service that's really great for business owners where you can create like a page, a service page, and talk about what you offer, and then people will start reaching out to you and you can message those people or whatever. It's a paid service, you have to pay for it, but I mean, the amount that you pay outweighs how much business you can probably do, because people will reach out. I've had like a lot of people reach out to me.
Nice. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Awesome. How about, anyone else want to answer this before I go to the next slide? Okay. So one thing that I like, that I always tell women, especially when they're in Lewis, now you're a gentleman, and I'm going to tell this to you too. Right? If you don't have a Pinterest account, I know not everybody likes Pinterest, but I actually like Pinterest for creating my personal brand. And I actually did this 3 years ago. So let me see if I can share the actual website. It was funny because I was like, where's my Pinterest account? Because I wanted to show it to you guys. But let me see if I can pop it out here real quick. Because I literally did this 3 years ago, my Pinterest. Just, and what I was doing was I was just looking at like different branding, right? And again, I'm coming from the personal brand, right? The personal brand standpoint. So like I was just kind of looking at like like clothing, outfits, styles, right? And then I was putting it in a board, like these are the type of pieces that I would like to be wearing more, right? Some of it I have, some of it I haven't incorporated, but at least it gave me some kind of inspo to kind of like pick certain outfits, right? And again, we're talking about personal brand, how you want to stand out. And there's so much stuff on Pinterest. Like I think even I have actually worn something like this. So like it's just a good way of saying, well, this is how I want to present myself to the business world. And now that I think about it, I think I've changed my brand multiple times. And some actually I've done it kind of by force, right? So my brand, the funny thing is my brand before I was married. So my brand was different when I was married compared to being single. Right. So I was a little bit different with the way that I would dress and stuff like that. But it's just something to think about for you guys, especially when you're coming up with brands. It's okay for them to shift and evolve and shift. So like the way I look now is not what I looked like 3 years ago. But 3 years ago, I created that board with what I wanted to look like in the future. Right? Does that make sense? So, I love Pinterest. It's just a recommendation. You don't have to use it, but go on Pinterest, create an account, start looking up ideas of how you want to portray yourself. So what do you want to see more of in your brand? What would you like to see more of in your brand?
I want more audience like on Facebook, for example. I want to grow my audience on Facebook. And no matter what I've tried, I mean, I've done the paying for ads, and it doesn't get the right crowd, like whatever algorithm it follows, like I don't know. So it's just, I don't know, just messing around with that or finding somebody who can help me with Facebook ads, I guess.
Yeah, I've built my following organically. I really don't pay for ads. I mean, it's been a work in progress, right? It's been a couple of years that I've been building it, but it's the consistency of the same posts, similar videos, going live all the time, right? Experimenting and like even the coffee chat show, I've had that for 2 years, but I feel like this last 6 months, it's kind of blown up because I took a different strategy and I started doing it in person, like in the coffee shops or in the restaurants or in the offices. And that gave it a different feel. People start following me for that. So like I think in your case, be patient, one, because on the personal branding side, it does take time to build it, but like more consistency. Also, like if you're comfortable going Facebook Live, I would totally do more Facebook Lives if you can, like just sharing your message, that really helps a lot with building the personal brand, and then people feel like they trust you more with the video when you do videos.
I do post videos once in a while, and I hope to do more podcasts in the future so that I can share that as my content as well. I don't like, I only go live when I have something important to say. Like I don't go live a lot, and I just post videos anyways, but
Yeah, you do create a lot of video content. I've seen it. I have seen it. So, okay, that's good to know. At least this way you can start coming up with strategy of when you start thinking of, okay, targeting what I want to look like, who I want to attract, right? And what do I want to see more of in what I do. Anybody else wanted to answer that question?
Yeah, I can mention something. So for right now, the clients that I have is pretty much customers who have like basically just their auto insurance with me. What I would like to work on is having more of that realtor referral relationship. I do have like maybe a 2 or 3, solid referrals or relationship with referrals with realtors, but I mean, I guess I'm not being consistent with it. No, I don't know if I'm just not giving myself enough grace since I'm just starting. But like for example, if I do reach out to a realtor, most of the time they leave me on red. So
Really?
yeah, I mean, like even this very last one. Well, I guess that was just because I'm starting. So, like for example, there was a time where, hey, I'm gonna reach out to at least 5 to 10 realtors a day, right? Send them a quick message. Some answer, some don't. This particular girl didn't answer, but an event I just had on Saturday, she came up to me. She's like, hey, I've seen your social media for a while. You're with the insurance, right? We connected and we kind of shared a few things, few ideas, and we're actually looking to have an event posing about first time home buyers and all that stuff. But it's just weird how from not being left on red, now we're having this connection and then we're going on to having an event. So it's weird, but I don't know how to approach it. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like I'm kind of like I don't know where to navigate with this.
You know what's so funny with what you're saying? That's happened to me so many times where people like come up to me and I was like, oh, I didn't know that you've been right.
Yeah.
Oh, but I've had one woman tell me that she's followed me for 2 years before she actually build up the nerve to actually like try to go to an event or something. I've had women say they followed me for years, and I'm like, bro, why don't you guys just come up to me like to say hi, like reach out, right? But so people are always watching. They're always watching.
I've learned that too.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
you with what you're doing, be consistent. Maybe the direct messaging sometimes in Facebook might come off a little bit. I've done it too. Don't get me wrong, I do it too. Sometimes I have to do direct messages when I'm trying to, like, I've done it. I'm sure some of you guys have gotten my messages like, hey, I got this event going on. And I try to be subtle depending on the situation. But maybe more content and then going in their DMs, because in this way it's like they've already been watching you and then you can slip in there. You know what I'm saying?
Like reach out to the ones who like are engaging with your content.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do. So when I do see people liking my stuff or commenting on my stuff, now I know, okay, they're watching me, they're following me, then I might put some more stuff in there and then might share more things with them. But it has to be gradual, not too obvious either, It's
Okay.
it's a definitely a thin line because you don't want to come off as these MLMs that are like, oh,
Mhm.
buy my product, and you don't,
Yeah.
like I don't even know you.
Yeah.
But I think you're onto something. I think maybe combining with more online presence, more posts, more content on social media. And I could and any of you guys, if you guys want me to really just take a look at your brand, I'm more than happy to like kind of glance through your social media and make recommendations since you guys are taking the time to be with me here today. I have no problem doing that for you guys. So but that's good. Thank you for sharing, Stephanie. Anybody else want to answer this before we go to the next question? Maida said I was one of them. Maida, how long were you following me? I'm just curious now.
I think it's gonna be 3 years now.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
And when she came to an event last summer, the first one last summer, right? It was last summer, I think.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
So 2 years
mean,
later.
2 years later. Yeah. So be consistent and keep posting the same stuff and the right audience will appear, right? They will start coming and gravitating towards you, and then you'll be able to build trust with them and get, quotes, start giving quotes and stuff like that out. I'm assuming that's what you do, right? You give auto quotes to get them to be yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Well, you can reach out to me. I'm an agent, so we can create a relationship.
I appreciate you, Maida.
No,
There
no
you
problem.
go.
Yeah.
You can
Thank
find
you.
Miss Maida Sparsa Real Estate.
I gotcha.
There you go. Anyone want to answer this before I go to the next slide? What do we want to see more of? Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. So, right, think about, I don't want to spend too much time on this one, but your demographic, right? Age, sex, married, not married, educated, not educated. Like Irina said, she knew owners, investors. She was very specific when she answered her question. She knew investors that have assets, business owners. That's who she caters to, right? So then when you guys think about, again, because you're creating the personal brand to attract, right, these clients, you want to think about age, sex, married, not married, whatever it may be, right? And then this way you cater your messages to them. And again, if you have multiple, that's okay. You might have multiple demographics you serve. Just know who they are. And we call them avatars in marketing. So know who your avatar is so that you can promote to them. So like, I think one time I did that and I was like, avatar is a woman who is one of my avatars is like a woman who's a professional that's mid-level management and she is tired of her husband. No, I'm just joking, but like, no, I'm probably serious. Like she was like, she's just tired of where she's at in life and she needs a change. So like, I'm pretty specific on that. And I think at one point I said she likes Starbucks. Like I got so specific with like the things that this avatar likes. And it kind of works for me because then that's who I attract. So what does our ideal client do and where do they spend their time? I said Starbucks. I was already ahead of it, right? And again, and then if you're saying, well, I don't really know where my ideal client is at. So then another thing you can do is do data research, right? So like look back at all the clients that you have served and start figuring out what are the trends among these clients. So like, okay, most of my clients are men. Most of my clients are men with kids. Most of my clients are men with kids with small kids, right? Or you might realize like most of my clients are men with kids, small kids, and they have a master's degree, right? You're getting real nitty gritty, but you can figure that out by going back and kind of just looking at all the people that you've served already. If you don't know who to start catering your messages to, right? Look back at who you've served. because then that means that you targeted them and they're attracted to you because of something. Now, if you're like, I hate that if you're saying like, I hated who I've attracted, then now it's time to create a whole new personal brand to attract a new crowd. Does this make sense? Okay, cool. So I want you for homework, because this is probably going to be part of homework because I know we're at 9 o'clock. Choose 3 people that you like to watch and that you like to watch them on social media. It doesn't matter who. It could be, it could be a fake person, not a fake person, I'm sorry, a celebrity or a person that you actually know, right? But watch how they portray themselves online, right? Meaning the clothing, the way they talk, what do they do videos? Do they do posts, right? There's no right or wrong. I actually have to log off. Bye. Thank you. Okay, Arena. Right. There's no right or wrong, but I like to look, this market research. This is part of market research, right? Figuring out who you like and who you want to copy and know who your competition is. So, and we're talking about personal brands. So look at the persona, not the companies, right? So if you're looking at like, I don't know, let's say Amazon's CEO, right? He has his own personal brand outside of Amazon, right? He has interests and things that he posts that he likes and people can relate to. So that's what I mean by following them. Don't follow the business side of things. Follow how they carry themselves on social media. So that's something that definitely I want you guys to work on. And that's it. That's literally homework then. I'm glad I kept it an hour. Do you guys have any for me?
Do we have like a follow-up Zoom or
This is like
do we meet on one-on-one?
Totally. I mean, this was off the wisp. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was just in my car today and I was like, I want to do a video and I want to do a little workshop. And I did it and you guys showed up. So I'm like, oh, thank you. So I'm more than happy to we could do one-on-ones. I'm more than happy to do a one-on-one with you. I do have, so I do actually do coaching one-on-one too. We could do like a follow-up at no cost. I have no problem doing that. And then afterwards, like we could do like if you really want to work with me, you can do coaching. I do sessions. I think I do 6 or 7 sessions for a price. And then I also, for if you are interested, Stephanie, I do have a 12-week coaching program too, specifically for women. So that one is more of like, you get me, you get accountability, and you get the lessons also that come all packaged together. So that's gonna start on Sunday. So that's why kind of like just putting it out there if that's something that you need. I've worked with, you guys know Marta Raso, right? Have you heard of Marta Raso? Who has not heard of Marta Raso?
Yeah.
Okay, so before she became Marta Raso, I worked with her on her personal brand. Literally, that's what we were working on. And then now she's doing her thing. Now she's doing her thing. So like that is one of the things that I do work with women. They tell me their goals, what they want to work with, and men. Lewis has already worked with me in different capacities. So I do coaching with men. But we could do one-on-one coaching with Lewis, not the women's program.
Yeah.
He said, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lewis he goes to my masterminds and stuff like that. So I work with him in a different capacity. But I do have, like, if you guys want to join masterminds, you can join that. If you want to do the coaching program, especially Stephanie, if this is something that you're really interested in, you want to work with someone one-on-one, we do that for 3 months, 12 weeks. And Midas part well. And then or if you just want to work one-on-one, not the coaching program, I could do that with you as well. All righty.
Okay, sounds good. I really appreciate tonight's call. I got some valuable feedback for sure.
Really? Okay, cool. I'm glad to hear that. So yeah, let me know if you want to do a follow-up. I definitely would love to know what are the 3 people you're going to watch on social media. So reach out to me and let me know what that's going to be, all 3 guys.
Okie dokie.
Louis, you got any questions for me?
No, I like the session. I think like you're saying, oh, how do you want to work on your personal branding? For me, it's just to start an Instagram, you know what I mean? Just to get everything up and running. But I don't, I've never really used those outlets. And for me, just getting that up and going seems really difficult. And, you know, I think maybe this year is a good time to ride the wave per se to get those marketing outlets straightened out because like you said, you post one video a week, then next thing you know, you're posting two videos a week, and then people are engaging. And then I've heard from many people say, yeah, if you become the guy that is opening up cars and changing locks, they're gonna want you to come do the job. If they're watching you when it's their turn, like they're gonna want you to be the person that comes and helps them. So, you know, like I think you were saying, uh, like who do you want your audience to be? And I hate to say it, but literally my audience could be anybody and it could be everybody, you know, in a certain capacity, in an emergency state, every student, every adult, young, old, male, female, ethnicity, it doesn't matter. Everybody has keys, everybody needs security. But when it comes to maybe like the higher ticket items, yes, am I talking about business owners, property investors, real estate people, property managers? So yeah, I think I've kind of targeted everything, but I just don't have anything on paper. So, you know, if I start like for me, where do I start? I got to start from the beginning. I don't have, you know, I hear some of the other people in the group talking about, oh, I already do that and I have that and I'm already engaging with people. I don't engage with anybody. I don't talk with anybody. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like starting from scratch because I've gotten all my leads before, you know, through search engine optimization or through partnering with a marketing agency. And it's always been done for me where I'm just the one, hey, just knock the job out. And then, and then luckily a lot of times I would get to keep the customer where they're just calling me on my personal number. And I used to have a lot of customers that I just known for a long time that, hey, Louis, you're still doing locks? Yeah, I am. Come and
Yeah.
change my locks. Come and open my door. I
Yeah.
need you to come out here. And I want to take that to pretty much the next level where it's people are watching other people work. You know what I mean? Everywhere you go, you're watching any kind of video and it's someone just working with a hammer, hitting the hammer, and then you got 1,000 views, 10,000, 100,000 views of a dude hitting a hammer. You got 100 views, 100 million views, someone using a sandblaster. You know what I mean? And it's just like, what are people watching? What are you getting out of this? And
Well, Louis, for you, because you just said something, you've always gotten your clients through search engine optimization and marketing companies. So that's for the business, right?
yeah,
You haven't built a personal brand yet.
no, I haven't. I really haven't. You know what I mean? Just from the business, people would be like, "Oh, you're a nice person. I want you to come do my job." You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and I need, and like I said, and I think this is what this is about, because in my mind it's still like business, 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 but right now you're talking no personalize your business or personalize, set apart the goals that you want in your business and the goals you want in your personal life, and ultimately they'll come together. And
Yeah.
for me, I think that's what where I'm kind of failing to connect because I've always separated work from like self. You know what I mean? I never, I don't, I'm not going to say I never, but a lot of things I don't like to do is, you know, mix work and play. For me, it's like when you're work, you're at work. When you're at play, you're at play. I can't be, I can't be at work having fun because to me, now I'm having fun and I'm not working.
That's good.
Right.
That's a good point. And one thing that I share with people all the time for you to think about, Louis, is when you are doing your personal brand stuff, you choose what you want people to see, right? you can
Yeah.
still have a personal life that people have no idea that you have, because
Right.
you choose what you portray out there. So like people feel like they know me. Like people really believe they know me, but it's only because I've put those sides of me out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, of course.
So with you, when you're thinking about, oh, work and play and like separating, like, at the end of the day, yes, it's personal, but it's intentional too. And that's how you can like ride that wave to make it make sense for you, if that makes sense.
It does, but I've never experienced it. You know what I mean? All I've ever really done is just on the Instagram is just like pictures or that's it. You know what I mean? I've never thought about going live. I've never thought about, taking a selfie and being like, hey, look at where I'm at. You know what I mean? To me, it's like, I don't know if I want people to see that, or I don't know if I want to be seen in that. And to me, I think it's just kind of coming to like a new, I don't know if it's like a new realization or something, but just say, hey, this is what is selling right now. And I've always had a problem with selling out. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I always said, hey, I'm not going to be a sellout. I'm always going to stay true to my colors and true to what I believe in. And
Yeah.
and I think that's really one of the reasons why I've never really gone out there and put myself out there like that, is because I feel that if I'm doing that, oh, I'm going to be a sellout and I'm going to be just like everybody else. And I'm just looking for a big company to come buy me out. And I'm not going to say I don't want that, because now it's kind of like you want that now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think, and then this assignment, like choose 3 people that you like to watch on social media. Find people that are like the fighting coaches or the coaches that are also MMA fighters or they have training. I don't know if you saw the message that Maida put up. She put, Lewis, can I have your info? Right? She said,
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
yeah, she said, my son and daughter just last night told me they would like to join some karate classes or boxing classes. So there you go, connect with her. But maybe this could be part of that personal brand. Maybe not so much the locksmith, maybe more the fighting and the coaching and the teaching side of you.
Right. Yeah, I think that's something that I want to try. I can't find my phone now. I'm on the Bluetooth headset.
Mhm. I could connect you guys if you want. I could put you guys on a
Yeah.
Facebook thing together.
Yeah, just send me. Yeah, can you do that? I'm literally trying to look for my phone and I can't find it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what I mean? I think I would like to work on those things. I've been told, hey, you should work on that, especially with the fighting thing. I've had some people that say, oh, you're a fighter? Make a Facebook page. People want to see your fighting stuff. And I'm like,
Yep.
I don't know if I want to do that, and to me it seemed like it's not necessarily like it's out of reach, but like I said, I always felt like I didn't want to sell out, and I'm not saying that's what it is. I just felt like that's what it was, but I think now with just how like the world is, it's everybody's kind of open to seeing somebody else's life, because there's a lot of people who can't get out. There's a lot of people with disabilities, and the only way they have to view the world is through social media. And I've always been a big supporter of people with disabilities, people that haven't been able to stand up for themselves, people that aren't able to speak up for themselves. I've always been a big supporter of those people. That's one of the reasons I fight, is because, hey, they're enjoying the fights. They wish they could fight. They don't have the physical ability, the mental capability to do it. I do, so I'm going to do that. And, and stand up for those people. So,
Nice. That's good. Lewis, is your number, just so I could confirm, the 312-838-5459?
yeah, it is.
Okay. Then I'm gonna put Maida. So I'm putting you guys both on a text right now.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys, thank you so much for jumping on and giving me an hour of your time. And yeah, let me know how the personal brand starts developing.
Okay.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Luis. Thank you so much, Mike. I'll talk to you guys later.